I'm Nathalie Griset from RTE, and I'm the coordinator of the project. But today the presentation will be given by Benoît Richard from CEA. Maybe next slide, Benoît, you can change the slide. So the agenda of the webinar is the following. First, I will give a brief introduction of the Osmose project for those who are not familiar with the project. And then Benoît will give the main presentation on the work on best optimized sizing methodology, and then we'll keep some time for questions, to answer your questions. Next slide, Benoît. So about the process of the webinar, so you can basically ask your question on the chat box. So it's on the left of the screen. At the end of the presentation, Yves-Marie will synthesize all the questions so that Benoît can answer them. For your information, so the deliverable associated to the work presented today and the slides are already available on our website. And the webinar is recorded and it will be published also in the Osmose website. Next slide. So here, if you have some problems to find the chat box, so you have to click on the button on the left. Please, if possible, you can specify the slide number in your question. It will be easier to answer. And of course, remember to mute your microphone. Yes, you can go to the next slide. So a few words now about the project. So we are addressing the question of flexibility and how to combine different flexibility sources to address new needs. Next slide. Yes, next slide. Yeah, thank you. So Osmose, it's an Edge 2020 project funded by the European Commission with 33 partners from 9 countries. It started in 2018 and it will end in 2021. Next slide. So here is a short overview of the content of the project. So in the project, we have 2 work packages, which are basically studying flexibility in long-term scenarios of the European power system. And on the other side, we also have 4 large demonstrators led by TSOs to develop new flexibility solutions. And in between, we have the work package 7, which creates solutions to foster the development of flexibility and especially of storage. And so it's the purpose of the discussion today. And so Benoît, I'll leave you the floor.
Okay, thank you, Nathalie, for the introduction. So this webinar is related to work package 7 of Osmose. The overall objective of this work package is to ease by different means the scaling up and the replication of the flexibility solution that have been identified or deployed as demonstrators in the Osmose project. And among this work package, one of the tasks, which is the 7.3, is addressing the subject of how to systematically optimize the design of battery energy storage systems in order to improve the cost effectiveness of battery storage installation and to improve the profitability of such business model. So the agenda of the my presentation is as follows. At first, 2 slides to explain the general problem of BSS sizing and the goal of the work. Then point 2, I will describe the optimal sizing method which has been developed and implemented for this study. The point 3 is the description of 2 different illustrative BSS applications which have been used to carry out some sensitivity analysis. Point 4 is concerning the sensitivity study itself and its results. And finally, I will sum up the conclusion in point 5. So let's start with the general issues of BSS sizing. So the general problem of BSS sizing is summarized on this slide. I guess anyone who already tried could recognize that this is a tricky exercise, as it often appears that the calculation will depend on a very, very large number of factors and parameters. Some of these factors are related to the application itself. So what are the energy needs or power solicitation profiles to consider for this application? How the battery will be managed by the control strategy, which is the energy management system. Some other factors are specific to the technical performances of the storage system, like the energy efficiency of the system or the impact a long time of aging on the battery. And some factors also depend on the business model framework, like the project lifetime or the generation cost or electricity prices to consider. So it's rather difficult and quite impossible to get a precise and an exhaustive knowledge about all these factors during the design phase. And that's why BSS sizing is so difficult. So nevertheless, the challenge is crucial for the profitability of the project. And as illustrated below, both cases, if BSS is undersized or oversized, may lead to some economical risks. If undersized, the service may not be correctly achieved and as a consequence not paid. And additionally, additional maintenance costs may occur if battery must be replaced sooner than expected due to too intense cycling. If oversized on right, which happens in most cases, I think, especially when sizing is based on the worst case scenario, the total financial investment is higher than necessary and may even lead to a no-go for the project if the investment is considered too high. And between these two opposite situations, being able to determine the optimal size of a BSS leads to maximize its cost effectiveness and as a general purpose of the work package 7 of OSMOS to foster the competitiveness of battery energy storage system as flexibility sources. So in order to provide some methodological outcomes which may be useful for BSS optimal design, the work has been focused on this question: what are the most influencing factors to consider in a BSS sizing procedure? And to answer this question, we first developed and implement an optimal sizing method based on numerical simulation. And then we use this method to carry out some sensitivity analysis, aiming at identifying the key drivers for BSS optimal size determination and quantifying their degree of impact on the sizing results. So all this work and the associated results have been described in the OSMOS deliverable D7.5, which is entitled Methodology Report for Application-Specific Design of BSS. So which is a public deliverable. It means it's accessible in the OSMOS project website, like Nathalie said. So now we can talk about the optimal sizing method which has been used for this study. So here is the synoptic of the simulation-based method implemented for optimal sizing. So the basic principle consists in repeating the simulation of the operation scenario for different BSS sizes and to associate a performance value for each BSS size. And at the end, the best performance obtained corresponds to the optimal size. So the simulation itself corresponds to the blue box you can see in the figure. It is based in our case on the simulation platform, which has been developed by CA on the MATLAB Simulink environment. And within this simulation platform, the application case is modeled through two entities. On the one side, you have the plant model, which is corresponding to the physical equipment composing the energy system. In this entity, you will find component models corresponding, of course, to the battery, but also to other systems involved in the application, such as PV plant, converters, transformers, etc. And on the other side, you have the control module, which corresponds to the energy management system and which integrates all control algorithms which are necessary to manage the components and to compute their set points. And then to run the simulation, you also need two different sets of data, which are represented in green on the figure. On the top, the input data time series, which are representing the external conditions in which your application is operating. For example, the solar irradiance profile for PV plants or the demand profile your application has to comply with. On left you have the model parameters, which correspond to the dataset used to define the behavior of the component models. So for the battery storage system, for example, the model parameters are including the data related to the energy efficiency of a specific battery chemistry. And this data will also define the size, so in power and energy, of the BSS used for the simulation. After the simulation itself, a second step consists in processing the simulation outputs through a techno-economical analysis to associate a performance value to each BSS size. So this calculation depends, of course, of the performance indicator you want to observe for your application. So you may define your own performance indicator depending on the technical or economical goals to achieve, but commonly 3 standard financial indicators are used to evaluate the profitability of an energy system. These 3 common indicators are summarized in the table on the right with their definition. So the levelized cost of energy, the net present value, or the internal rate of return. These indicators have been those used in the study. All these 3 indicators are based on a comparison between the incomes and the expenses generated by the project. But depending on the application case, you may want to observe how much costs the energy you produce, and in this case, you will use the levelized cost of energy, or the general profit for your project, and in this case, you will look at the net present value or the internal rate of return. It's also important to mention that the calculation of the financial indicator will strongly depend on the set of economic assumptions you take to define your business model. And it's including all your costs like investment, maintenance, or operation costs. And as the final result, you are able to plot the curve of your sizing indicators along the range of BSS sizing you are investigating, and hopefully find the optimum, like on this graphic, where the minimum cost of energy is obtained for a battery energy capacity of about 400 kilowatt-hour. So now illustrative BSS use cases. So 2 illustrative application cases have been used to implement this optimal sizing method and carry out the sensitivity analysis. They are not directly linked to the Osmose demonstrators use cases, as it would have been difficult at the time we started this study to get all the control algorithm and detail parameters about the demos which were at the beginning of the specification phase. So they are just illustrative application cases used for the sensitivity study, but they are different enough to provide some general methodological outcomes that can then be applied on any other use case. So on the left side, application 1 is a PV smoothing and peak shaving application. It is related to a call for tenders issued by the French Energy Regulatory Commission for installing new PV capacity in non-interconnecting islands. In this case, a storage system must be installed with a minimum capacity imposed to mitigate PV fluctuation during day and participate to the peak period in the evening. An important point is also that the injection profile must be enhanced in advance. This is the power commitment you can see in blue on the figure. And for this reason, you have to use a weather forecast to predict the PV production. And on this example, we used net present value as sizing indicators, considering that BSS optimal size is obtained when the benefits from the sale of energy are maximum. Application 2 now on the right is an hybrid microgrid, typical of a remote area which is off-grid and where an industrial load has to be supplied. The electricity generation means are composed of a PV solar plant and a fuel generator. A storage system is added to maximize the use of the PV energy and minimize the use of the fuel generator, which is the high cost energy due to the fuel consumption. In this second example, we choose the levelized cost of energy as the sizing indicator, considering that the BSS optimal size is obtained when the load can be fed at the minimum cost of energy produced. So let's start now for the sensitivity analysis. So here is the scope of factors which have been investigated through the sensitivity study. And the first is related to how precise are set up the parameters for BSS efficiency. Then the second is what is the impact if we take into account or not the degradation of battery due to aging. Then what is the importance of the technical modeling of the BSS. After this, we look at what is the importance of sizing results of the time step you set up for the simulation. Then we'll see what could be the impact on optimal sizing determination of different control strategies which had been deployed for the same application case. And finally, when a forecast is used, what could be the impact on, of forecast quality on the sizing. So let's start with the precision of the BSS efficiency. So this one is quite simple. We know that the efficiency of a BSS actually depends on several factors, including temperature, battery state of charge, and current rate, leading in reality to a variable efficiency behavior. That's what we see in the figures on the left, individually for battery and converter, and just below the resulting efficiency curve for the whole BSS. But modeling such a variable efficiency behavior requires, one, to have very detailed data about the BSS, and two, to develop complex BSS models. So it would be much more easy if we can compute the optimal size just by setting up a constant efficiency value for the BSS corresponding to the average efficiency. So that's what we did in this comparison. Exactly the same scenario is used, except the fact that the baseline scenario uses detailed tables of precise variable efficiency, and the comparative scenario uses one single efficiency value equal to the average efficiency observed in operation. And as you can see on the graph on the right, this approximation has no impact on the sizing results, and the same conclusion has been observed both on application 1 and application 2. But this raises a second question. What happens if the average efficiency is difficult to precisely know, and if I made an error of a few percent in its estimation? So these graphics give an idea of the answer by comparing the sizing results with a constant efficiency value varying around its exact value of 91%. As you can see on left, it doesn't change the optimal battery size, which remains around 400 kilowatt hour, but you have to be cautious on that since the sizing indicator value is nevertheless strongly affected. As you can see on right, the setup with an efficiency of 85% leads to an error of about 5% on the LCOE value, meaning that if you don't know more than the overall BSS efficiency should be comprised between 85 and 95%, you may have a gap of about 10% on your financial indicator, which may be critical not only for sizing issue, but also for investors' decision. So now let's talk about aging. The main effect of aging of a lithium-ion battery is that the useful capacity of the battery degrades over time. And the comparison here is made between the baseline scenario where the
Benoit, I think we lost you. There is no sound anymore. Could you please check your connection? Benoit? Okay, sorry for this interruption. I will try to contact Benoit in parallel to check if we can do something about this technical issue. I don't know if Marie, if you can comment in the meantime.
So, hello everybody. Maybe I can answer some questions, waiting for Benoit. Not all the questions because I have not time to take all. There are some questions regarding GAMS and using GAMS with MATLAB and why not using other tool like YAML or AMPL. So we use GAMS for this work, but we also try using other tool like YAML or AMPL. YAML we found that it's too slow for our application and our case study for optimization, and for AMPL it do great job, but it was not convenient for us regarding the price. GAMS was more convenient for us for the price. And for the solver we use, we can use CBC or Cplex, and we can perform some linear optimization and no linear optimization. And why coupling with MATLAB is it could be coupled also to Python or C++, but for MATLAB for this study is only because we use for the simulation Spider platform, which is in Simulink, so it's easier to use to couple it to MATLAB, but it could be coupled to other environments. For the other question, depending on the battery technology with the same cycle aging, it could be different. So it's taken into account for the aging. So it's in the following of the presentation. So what was studied was the influence of aging on the results for optimal sizing. So if we take into account a very accurate sizing, aging or not. And depending on the technology, it's not the same value for the aging. Another question is on optimal sizing. Is it for battery pack only, or battery pack and inverters and transformers and switchgear? So it could, for this study, is for the whole system, so battery pack, inverters, transformer, and switchgear. But if you have a DC system for storage, it could be only the battery. And last question was about PV curves that are rarely so smooth. So it was about the slide 16 on the first case study. The PV curve just used for this illustration is the one of the technical requirements, but for sure it's not so smooth, and we do not use smooth PV curve, but real PV curve. So I think I have almost all the questions, maybe not the last ones. Time series are hourly or one value per minute or one value per second. It's not hourly, it's something between 1 minute and 1 second. I do not remember very well. And I'm just checking the last question. Control strategy must take into account characteristics of the battery for aging. So I answer to it. And how do you choose the value of sample time simulation, sample numbers to minimize time calculation? So this one was quite was also studied the time step regarding the time of calculation. So it was one of the parameters studied in this study if we take a big or small time step for calculating.
I think Benoit cannot join us again. I can't reach him by email or phone, so I'm sorry. Yves-Marie, do you think you can comment on the next slides?
I can try.
Do you have the presentation, or should I pass it for you?
I have the presentation. I'm not expert on.
Okay, so I will try to put you as presenter now.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry to ask you for that at that point. Okay, so now you should be presenter, and you can you have a button at the bottom of the screen to share your screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one, it's okay for?
Yes, we can see. If you can put it in display mode.
Yeah.
Screen mode.
But it will be hard for me to follow the question, but
we will try to manage the question in parallel, okay?
Like that. It's okay for everybody?
Yes. Thank you.
So we were at aging. So same than efficiency, we study the influence of aging parameters on optimal sizing for BESS. So baseline was a model of aging based on degradation, capacity degradation, and that vary during the time, and the comparison was made with battery capacity that remain constant over time, so with no aging. And we compare the two cases with different size of battery, and we see that the optimal size does not change a lot, but the LCOE value is modified. So it's not important so much for selecting the size of the battery, but it will impact the value of your economical study. So BESS capacity degradation is important to take into account for the sizing. I go to the next slide. Comparison of different methods to estimate aging. So we use different methods for the aging, because you can use no aging if you have no information, but also you can use a constant aging degradation rate, or you can use very accurate model for aging. But generally, when you are at the development phase, you don't have such accurate information. So the baseline is based on capacity degradation calculated at each time step. So it's very accurate model of aging with a quite long simulation. So you have more accurate results, but you need more computational time, and you need to have the information regarding aging. The second approach could be to approach the aging with a constant rate of aging during the life. It's easy to implement, but it's quite difficult to find the right value of average aging during the time. And for the third case, you just use a macro aging parameters just to estimate the aging at the end of the simulation, but you lose accuracy. So we have comparison here at the bottom left of the 4 cases, and we can see that regarding in this use case regarding the battery size, there is not a lot of influence, but regarding the LCOE influence, it's quite important. I try in the same time to move the bottom again. So regarding approximation, if you have not all the accurate value for aging, you can approach the optimal size of the BESS if you have not all the data available regarding aging. So we have precision for BESS efficiency, precision evaluation of battery capacity due to aging. So we can see that these two parameters have importance regarding the sizing, optimal sizing, but more for the economical evaluation of the sizing, but not to choose the right size.
Marie, I think Benoit is back. Benoit, can you speak?
Yeah, I'm just back. Yes. Sorry about this. I didn't notice I have some trouble with my connections, so it's now okay.
Thank you very much, Marie, for taking over the presentation. Now I suggest I get back the control to Benoit. Okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much, Yves-Marie.
Welcome.
Sorry about this.
So, Benoit, you have control again. You need to share your screen.
Okay. You can see it?
Not yet. Yes.
Okay. To which slide? We were at this slide?
Yes, and this one.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So sorry about this. Well, the degree of technical modeling. So in fact, this part can be seen as a consequence of the 2 previous results obtained on the efficiency and the capacity degradation approximation. You can see here the comparison between the use of a detailed BLSS model for the baseline and the use of a simplified BLSS model for the comparative scenario. Both models were internally developed at CEA and are used for different simulation purposes. In the BLSS detailed model, the battery is modeled as an electrical equivalent circuit and uses as parameters exhaustive open circuit voltages and resistance values, which have been measured in a laboratory under various conditions. These detailed values lead to a precise variable efficiency behavior. As previously said, this model also integrates the precise state of health computation module to take into account aging. The BLSS simplified model is a semi-empirical model which directly handles power and energy quantities based on efficiency parameters. It does not compute state of health during simulation, but aging approximation has been used in post-processing. So for the simplified model, we set up a constant efficiency of 91% and tested both aging approximation methods developed in the previous slide. As a result, both comparative scenarios involving the simplified model link to the same results as the baseline within an error range of about 1%. Using a simplified model also enables to save computation time. As you can see at the bottom of the table on the right, each BSS configuration needs 1 hour, 10 minutes of calculation time with the detailed model. This time is reduced to 10 minutes with the simplified model when simulating 20 years with a moderately degraded capacity. And this computation time is only 30 seconds when you simulate only the first year thanks to the extrapolation method. So next, the impact of simulation time step. We measure the impact of simulation time step on the optimal sizing results through the comparison of the baseline time step of 1 minute with the comparative scenarios of 10 minutes and 1 hour. Here is the resulting graph for this comparison. We can see there is no much differences in the sizing results, except for the smallest BSS size tested, where the gap between the minute time step and the hourly time step is almost 20% of the LCOE value. So to explain this important deviation, we took a snapshot on the same 5 days operation period simulated at different time step value that you can see on the right. And as you can see with the time step of 1 minute, there is many brief restarts of the fuel generator, so in orange, leading to high operation costs. But when the time step becomes larger, there is an important loss of information about these brief events, and then the evaluation of operation cost is significantly impacted, leading to underestimated cost of energy. So our conclusion on that is that information related to the events impacting the operation costs or incomes is crucial for the correct evaluation of the financial indicator. So it is therefore necessary to first identify the time constants of such events, and then to adapt the simulation time step to these time constants. So in our example, these crucial events are related to PV fluctuation and fuel generator operation, and a time step of 10 minutes seems suitable.
Benoit, could you please
Yes.
click on Masquer at the bottom of your screen so that we can see the full slide? Yes,
Okay,
thank
yes.
you.
No problem. So now the control strategy. For assessing the influence of the control strategy, we compared the use of 2 different control algorithms for the same application. So here it is for the hybrid microgrid case. The baseline is performed with some basic control algorithm, which have the function of starting the fuel generator when the battery is almost empty. Genset is started when state of charge falls at 10%, and stopping it when battery state of charge is 30%. And the comparative scenario is performed with more complex control algorithm, which use some PV prediction and an optimization software to minimize the use of the fuel generator. The impact on sizing result is very strong, as you can see on the small BSS sizes, as it is the area where a lot of fuel costs can be saved until the point of moving the optimum. So in this case, with the advanced control algorithm, not only you can install a smaller battery, around 300 kilowatts instead of 400 kilowatts, but your LCOE also decreases of about 4% compared to the previous optimum. So as a conclusion, you have to be very cautious on this point, because different control strategies may lead to different optimal BSS size. So therefore, the recommendation is that it is better to clearly define the control strategy before determining the sizing of the system. So, and finally, the forecast quality. So when you need to use some forecast in your application, you are facing some forecast errors, and potentially you can also choose, or you can buy different forecasts of different qualities. So the question here is, what is the impact of different forecast qualities on the performance of the application and by extent on the optimal sizing. So to answer this question, the baseline is performed with a standard forecast, whereas the comparative scenario uses an improved forecast with 50% less errors. We found here very different results depending on the application. For application 1, which is related to PV smoothing and peak shaving, 50% less errors in the forecast improves performance by 15%, whereas the same forecast quality improvement with application 2 related to hybrid microgrid also improves performance, but only by 2%. The reason for this is explained by the difference of missions for the BSS between application 1 and application 2. The main function in application 1 is to announce the day before the injection profile and to respect it to avoid penalties. So in that case, the main mission of the BSS is to compensate for forecasting errors. That's why forecast quality has such an impact on the financial indicator. And for application 2, the main mission of the BSS is different. The purpose is more simply to store the excess of PV energy in order to reduce the use of the fuel generator. So the importance of PV forecast is not so high. So it's time to conclude. The conclusion of the sensitivity study about the influence of the investigated factors are summarized in this table. We hope that they can help project designers to concentrate the effort on the most crucial factors and also identify where relevant approximations can be applied in the calculation to save some unnecessary efforts and computation time without degrading the accuracy of the result. And I've got an illustration for this on the next slide. That's an illustration on the computation time which can be saved by combining together the conclusion of the sensitivity study. So compared to the baseline scenario, which was the most precise I can do, I put together in the comparative scenario the different conclusions. So for degree of technical modeling, I use the simplified BSS model. For BSS efficiency, I set the parameter as the average efficiency value. I use the extrapolation method for aging based on Routh estimates of the capacity degradation. And I set a simulation time step of 10 minutes. And by doing this, I obtained results with an average deviation under 2% compared to the baseline. And whereas each BSS configuration takes 1 hour and 10 minutes to compute with the baseline, it now only takes 5 seconds with the approximations applied. And some last words about the optimal sizing method implemented for this study. So it was well suited for the purposes of this study, which consists in the sensitivity analysis for identifying the influencing factors. But maybe for larger use, we can find some weaknesses as it stands today due to its very deterministic nature, because it requires to collect a large amount of data. For example, for input time series, a full year PV production measurement has been used. It doesn't handle uncertainties related, for example, to weather forecast and load consumption. And it could require a large number of simulations before identifying the optimum. So there is some space for improvements of this method, and we can imagine some further development by combining the simulation-based method with other techniques, such as probabilistic method, which can enable to handle uncertainties and to require less input data, and or some direct search algorithm, including mathematical optimization or heuristic approaches, could be used to converge more quickly to the optimum. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, and sorry again for the technical problems.
Marie, I don't know if you had time to compile a bit the questions, otherwise we can go through the chat box and review them.
I have a little bit time, not for all, but almost. There are some questions regarding slide 24. So the different question was regarding 24. Why the LCOE is so high with minimal value of battery size, for example, from 0 to 300 kilowatt-hour? And what about sizing for power? Because the results are in energy, not in power.
Okay. Yes, so I can try to answer this one. So yes, it is noticeable that the LCOE is very high on the small BSS sizes, and also very high on the big BSS area. The reason for this is different. So on the left, you have the small BSS size, and the LCOE in this area of the graphic is mainly composed of OPEX costs, which is due to high fuel consumption, because as the battery is very small, you have to use your fuel generator very often. So that's why this is the LCOE is very high for the smallest battery size. At the opposite side, so on the right, your LCOE is mainly composed of CapEx costs due to the large BSS investment. So in the right area of the graphic, there is a very small fuel consumption, because you can do almost all the operation with the PV and the battery, but your LCOE is high due to the fact that the battery is so large that the investment is that the CapEx costs are important. So that was for the first question, and the second was yes, on the sizing on the energy and power. So in this case, which correspond to the hybrid microgrid, we fix the power because we know the consumption profile of the load to feed. So it means that I don't remember, but I think it was about 100 kilowatt-hour peak, the consumption. So we can fix this power to its maximum. And when look only at the sizing in energy, that's the reason why we only see it, the battery size in kilowatt hours. But this is because the power could be fixed due to the application profile.
Okay.
So
there is a general question regarding the accuracy of aging model. With does it take into account C rates? Does it take into account I don't remember exactly, but advanced parameters? So maybe you can explain better than me, Benoit. I try to explain it, but
about the aging
model. We have
model.
accurate model and very simple model. So accurate model can take into account all these parameters.
Yes, so the difference, the most precise we've done in this study is to use a state of health computation module, and it relies on very difficult to obtain and very long to measure laboratory extraction data on aging, because aging depends on a lot of factors like temperature, state of charge of the battery, and also the rate of current. So that's what have been done on the baseline scenario. It's quite complex and difficult to model, because you have to have some aging expert skills for modeling this kind of model, and especially you have to have very precise data from a laboratory. But yes, my the message on this slide is that for optimal sizing purposes, you can simplify it and have good results, good confidence levels by approximating this data. So there is, if you have no data from your battery manufacturer, you can try to estimate a constant but moderately degraded, like I did on the left in this graphic. So where I said, okay, the battery new has a capacity of 100%. The battery must be replaced when its capacity falls to 70%. If I took the average value of 85, it should be a good approximation. It was very good in this case of figure, but I think this is a sort of statistical result because the project lifetime was 20 years, which was long enough so that this average value was a correct value. And to approximate the aging in the method which is illustrated on the right, you may have from your battery manufacturer some figures about aging, which is not as precise as the one used for the model in the baseline. But if you have the figure concerning the cycling contribution to aging, like for example, a number of maximum cycling before replacing the battery, and if you have also some figures about the contribution of the calendar for aging, you can, if the simulation gives you the results, in results the number of cycles the battery perform for a year, for example, you can achieve some good approximation of this aging behavior and use it to determine your optimal size.
Okay. Regarding slide 26, there was just a question regarding the accuracy of the equivalent electrical circuit model. So is it first degree circuit, second degree circuit, or even higher? I can answer it. It's first degree for the study. It's quite a simple one, but we can see that with a simple one or without such modeling, we can have difference. And even if you use second degree or higher degree of modeling for battery, you can have different results.
That's good.
For slide 30, about control strategy, there is different question. Does control strategy include aging goals or warranty constraints? And we consider ancillary grid services supply scenario.
So no, there is no, in this scenario, there is no ancillary grid services. So this is only one goal application, which is here the hybrid microgrid. So the goal is to feed the load. And sorry, what was the previous question? The function, no?
If in the control strategy, it includes some constraints on aging or warranty.
In this one, we can put some constraints about aging, yes, and yes, it's performed in this control strategy in the fact that you can use some aging models to as a constraint, yes, to minimize the aging of the battery a long time. So if you are, in one moment the control strategy has the choice between one big cycle in terms of depth of discharge or minimize it, it will maybe choose to minimize it to have a less important impact on aging. But yes, this is formulated in the objective function of the control in this case. But yes, you can take aging into account, and this is done through this comparative scenario.
And regarding this control, there was a question about little bit with the control strategy of Tesla wall batteries. So we don't really know the control strategy of Tesla, but for the wall batteries, it's more dedicated to self-consumption. So if you have overconsumption, you store the energy, and if you have underproduction, you discharge the battery simply. And they add some ancillary services for Australia, I think, with Tesla wall batteries, but it's a little bit different. And there is also a question more technical on computer you used for the simulation. So power of calculation, more or less.
Yes, so in that case of figure, so we use the simulation has been performed on the MATLAB Simulink. And there is no need to use some special equipment in terms of computer. So we did it through a normal laptop. So maybe you can improve your computation time with a more dedicated computer, but this is not. It should be not be understood as a constraint.
And last question was more about link to the storage to PV. So it's what about sizing PV installation? So in coupled to storage, I think. And if you choose a PV system with different orientation or different profile, how does it impact the results?
Yes. So where is the application? Yes. Well, in this case of figure, it could be also, yes, in the optimal sizing, determining how size both PV and BSS to have the best couple. In this case of figure, as we only want to identify the impacts on BSS size, we fix the PV, and we only play on the BSS size. But meaning that when you, in that example, the PV size was 1 megawatt installed of PV capacity. When you found the optimal BSS size related to this size of 1 megawatt of PV, in this case of example, after this, if you want to have other capacity of PV installed, this is just a scale effect. So this is quite simple. But for other systems like the hybrid microgrid is not so simple. So yes, the question is interesting. As also the genset could be sized differently. But here for this the framework of the study, we choose to fix other elements, and then considering that the BSS has to be added, and what is determining its optimal size, and what is the main factors of influence of the calculation. So that's my answer. And there was also a second question, sorry.
It's the impact of changing the profile of PV. So if you have east-west orientation or
yes.
south orientation or tracker.
Yes, of course. This is there is a big influence of the PV profile. It depends. Like I said in this, like I present this synaptic, it takes part of the input data time series, and of course, different PV time series from different places. For example, if you are in Germany or if you are in Morocco, for example, it will have a big impact on the optimal sizing. But it is the impact related to the place where you perform your installation. So we did not investigate this one in this study because it's very specific to the place, and we prefer identify some factors concerning the characteristic of the battery or the choice you can do for example, for control strategy or forecast quality. But yes, that's there is a big influence of PV profile, of course.
Maybe Yves-Marie, do you have a last question, or otherwise we will?
There is one question about if we have used this study to provide grid services, for example, grid frequency and ancillary services. So it's the same question that before. So for the moment, we have two use cases, so PV smoothing and peak shaving, and the other one is hybrid system. So we have not studied that, but it will come for the next work in Osmose, in link with the Osmose demonstrators. And there was a last question about the time step for simulation and how do you select it and analyze the impact of time step on final results. So maybe you can just have a brief answer on that.
Yes, the time step. Yes, we talk here about the simulation time step. That's meaning that when you launch your simulation on the MATLAB Simulink, you can set if you want to compute one value at each minute or one value each 10 minutes. So that we are talking about this, and the most precise we can perform for this application cases was the minute one, because we have this was the resolution of the data measurement we used. So, and I guess, like I said, which is important is not to lose information about the events that generated some incomes or expenses. And in the case of for this use case, which is related to PV fluctuation or fuel generator, the minute is larger enough, and you can, as you've seen the results, the 10 minutes has no big impact except for the smallest one. But larger deviation in this case of figure could be dangerous because, as you can see on the smallest configuration side, the gap is significant. So yes, that's my answer. So for determining the correct time step, you have to think about the events that have an impact on the incomes or expenses. For example, if you take the example of a grid of a frequency regulation, if you are paid for this service and you count the events during a day, for example, I don't know, if you have 20 regulation during a day, it's very important not to lose the information about these events, which are very short duration. So maybe in this case you have to go down the minutes, but for other application like my application one, in this case of figure, you can go up to 10 minutes. I hope this is clear.
Okay, thank you, Benoit. And I think there is no more question except degradation model for battery. So we already answered to that. So there is the study focused on degradation model with average value, but there is also an accurate model for degradation, and this one is based on aging, calendar aging, so both, and it's based on real measurements we provide at CEA on one reference of battery.
All right, thank you. Nathalie, would you like to add a concluding word?
Yes, so thank you very much, Benoit and Yves-Marie, because you had to help a lot in the discussion. So thank you, Yves-Marie and Benoit, for the presentation and the work also, which is very interesting. And I hope that everybody has enjoyed the presentation. So as we said in the beginning, the slides and also the full document detailing the work are available on the Osmose website. So do not hesitate to see them. And yes, so thank you everybody.
And we will keep you posted through the project website, LinkedIn, and Twitter on the next webinar. Some should occur in fall.
If you have remaining questions, we have also a contact email in our website.
So I think there is intermittent connection for you, Nathalie. Anyway, thank you, everyone. If you have any additional comments or anything, you can use my email, Clémentine Poujard. I was the one sending you all these reminders, so do not hesitate. We hope to have you for the next Osmose webinar. Thanks again. Have a nice lunch.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.